Ruminating. First sleepwalking mode v first waking mode wedding. Same partner. So this is in the spirit of my celebration of my birth. And it's my happy birthday or my birthday. It's 26 August 2026, 80. It's a Wednesday. And I'm Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle. And this is me. This video is about me ruminating about the meaning / significance of a first sleepwalking mode versus a first waking mode wedding, both with the same partner. I'd say in terms of like weddings I grew up with, waking mode was like the one I heard about. So that's like both people are awake and they get married. A sleepwalking mode wedding here is just really like one and or both of the people are sleepwalking, like in sleepwalking mode, which the person as a sleepwalker and a sleep talker, I can do some very real stuff. However, like that doesn't mean I remember crystal clear what I was like living as I was sleepwalking. So there we go. So that's a really brief. Some people want to know how my birthday is going. Well, I got a semi-fulfillment. So if I was adopted, then I'm living with my adoptive parents, and so I had a birthday wish of celebrating just them and I, so like a quieter birthday and no cake, and it was just them and I, but there was cake, so I got a semi birthday wish fulfilled. So the exact birthday wish, no, but there was also Kona dog there, so I was specifying human attendance. So there we go. And it's like if I was adopted and there is another Tanis, perhaps the cake was like, you know, they didn't forget about her either. So it was like, it's like the cake was a surprise. Maybe they're thinking of a special surprise, like welcoming party for her if she comes and sees them, you know, like if it's revealed, like I'm adopted, the kind of thing, and like she can come into their life kind of thing, however that works. There's their adoption agencies and contracts and stuff, so you know that stuff I'm not well versed in. So there we go. So I was like, maybe it's a way of including both, right? Just a way of making way for their birth daughter. Okay, so I respect that if that's what it was. So there we go. All right, so starting with sleepwalking mode, my overall first in this category, if I'm recalling correctly, there's sleepwalking memories are kind of weird ones to get back, and they tend to be structured. So like there's waking mode memories that go with the sleepwalking experience, if that makes sense. So my overall first for this one is my Elvis Presley. So perhaps the memories are like getting early life memories back. So I'm like, I have concern I have concern about like if this were our only wedding. So how do I mean that? So perhaps the memories are like getting early life memories back. So recalling my July 2007 wedding to my Elvis Presley may be analogous to celebrating the day of my birth with my birth mom and dad, like day of when I was born. That's the one where I was born and my mama died in childbirth and my dad still celebrated. So there were no doctors for the celebration, no cake. We had crumpets and English muffins instead, which I'm like, I'm not a big sweets person, and that's been true. I'm like, with the people that I was 1 or 2 years of age and went to like some recital or something like that, and I had my cup of grape juice, and my mom, our adoptive mom, walked off and she left her thermos of coffee, and I drank almost the full thing, and I just liked the way it tasted. But the grape juice was too sweet. And so then there was this long journey of like finding juice that I liked, but then the other people, it wasn't sweet enough for the other people. So like I ended up drinking cran mango, which is like cranberry mango juice. And it was like kind of tart for most people. And I was like, I just can't handle sweets. So this is like, you know, like sometimes birth family is like birth family and feels like home in a way that like, you know, there's a place for them in our lives. So it's like, this is one where it's just kind of like, Hey, crumpets and English muffins sound like a perfect birthday celebration dessert. And that's dessert for my palate. So there we go. So there was some day of lead up. What am I talking about? So me remembering that, right? There's structural remembering as well as the thing itself. So there was some day of lead up for the 2007 wedding when I was attending church in person. This is the Elvis Presley in 2007. There was stuff like him like picking me, so to speak, for the wedding. There was introspection and kind of like reflection and like self-evaluation that went into him choosing the when and the where, and the part of that came from I was in church. It was like in a church, like attending church in person, whether or not it was a church service kind of thing. And so it kind of was spurred by that. I do not know if my Papa Craig was there or not. My Papa Gillespie, my Papa Craig Gillespie. All right, so there's that one. I'm trying to explain through like an analogy. These are both things that are structural remembering kind of thing. So then there's waking mode, which is like a person's awake. And so my overall first in that category was intoxicated in South Africa with my Nathan in the first half of 2012. I was blackout drunk and I don't have access to the documentation, which I'm going to actually say for my living situation is probably a good thing. All right. It was later, however, so for the title was like for the same partner. So, okay, so let's start with the one that happened first of these two. So that would be the July 2007 to my Elvis Presley. So the paired first, same partner is sleepwalking mode would be my Elvis Presley. He would prefer me to remember our wedding, even if it takes time for me to recall / develop the ability to recall. So this is he has a preference for the wedding that already happened. He got me in a white wedding dress with a white bridal veil. So for those who want a big white wedding, the medium pink dress might not apply if he gets his way on this one. I'd say, so then from I say a conditional yes on the sleepwalking mode wedding as a first and only is a conditional, really big conditional yes. So a conditional yes is like a yes with conditions. I need to be able to remember it. And so there's structural memory and like component memory, but the full thing, I'm like, I need to be able to remember that. But from my current perspective, this is ruminating. As a versus structure, survival preference. So like Elvis and Jacob, so Elvis for wedding, Jacob Elordi for virginity loss, would win in sleepwalking mode if I could process what happened as physiologically awake, while Josh and Beckham are waking mode for survival. So like moving and working, I would throw into, for me, for some people they might be like they'd love to sleep right through it and sleepwalk through moving. For me, I'd like to be awake for that. So for survival, I would put like moving and working as waking mode, though I'm open with the sleepwalking mode as like for wedding and virginity loss, so long as like I can remember processes as physically awake, which includes remembering from my perspective. As for a first, I'm avoiding it. I have a survival preference. So it's like my preference is for survival. So if there's a person and for some reason we think it might not be safe to have a sleepwalking or a waking mode wedding for whatever reason, we need to be able to justify that in survival, and for me that includes processing as physiologically awake. See, that one's a little bit more bizarre, that it would only be the sleepwalking thing from my perspective. And then these processes physiologically awake, including me being able to remember. So if it's not possible for me to remember, then I would like a waking mode wedding. But then it's also, partner specific. So for this ruminating anyway. So that's ruminating. First sleepwalking mode, the first waking mode wedding, same partner, and I can feel those happy birthday vibes. So thank you for them, and happy birthday to you whenever your birthday is.